Well, back to the trusty old Honda Jazz. It was in for its MOT and it failed on the bushing. I think actually it's this one that failed. So we've ordered a wishbone or a control arm, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to fit it. We're down at Collins today. He's got the lift, so that in theory should make this a much more simple job than doing it at the side of the house at my place. Now here we go. So I've got to undo this bolt here. There's a nut on that side, and then I've got a 19mm bolt here, and then I've got to undo the ball joint. So probably have to undo this to get access into the ball joint, but I'll see if I can get things apart first. So I'll try and undo this part first and undo this. Right, we've got this bolt out. It appears that it's a captive nut at the back there, so that was a 19, but it certainly never turned, so that's now out. But that was a lot of to-ing and fro-ing with an electric wrench. So this one's undone, that's fine. The next thing we've got to do is break off the ball joint, because that nut looks, it doesn't look brilliant. I don't think that's going to turn off, and you'd need to take this drive shaft out to get a hex socket on there. So where is the new one? Here's the new one. Looks the same. This is it. It comes with a new split pin, castellated nut. So he's going to chisel this off, and then we're hopefully going to knock this out without too much drama. I was thinking I might have to take this off and bring the drive shaft out to get into that, but we're going to attempt, as I say, just to break that off with an air chisel. So that's maybe not the easiest thing to do if you're on your driveway, but pads are definitely needing changed. Slide pins are working fine though, so it's not so bad. It's been a good little car, this, actually. Had it for I think 8 years now, but it's definitely getting evidence of Scottish weather and salty roads, so I will give this a clean up, but we'll use this as a pivot point first. Alright, so we split the castellated nut from the ball joint, so that's that there now. If that'll focus, there we go. So that got split off. Just used a chisel in at an angle, and then it actually started to turn. But next thing is we're going to put the caliper back on, and then we're just going to put a lever in there, and then I guess we're going to tap this piece of iron from the knuckle, and hopefully it falls out. Well, that's that caliper refitted. So now we're going to see about popping out this ball joint. Hopefully if you're undertaking this job you don't have all this bloody corrosion that you have here in Scotland. Well, we had the Incredible Hulk here.
I knows what I'm doing.
Do you know it? Where's Esmeralda?
She's at home making the coffee.
Oh, well, Colin's been watching a lot of Marvel films, so he just put the bar in there on the chassis under here, and it just fell out. So if you're needing any agricultural services done, Kirky's Farm Services is the place to be.
Kirky Services,
Kirky
light
Services.
engineering
There you go.
and farm work.
So, we'll get this bolt out. Well, that's the old versus new. Now, we've had a quick look at this. We're not seeing anything drastically wrong with that, we don't think. But, well, it's getting changed now. So, excessively worn. Well, it's out, and that's the end of it, I suppose. There's the other bit of that split castellated nut. So now, we're going to put the new one in, and in. So is that a captive nut? I'm not sure if it is a captive nut or if it's just welded itself on.
No, it will be captive. There's no way that stayed still with it.
Right.
Definitely captive, I would say. They will
Right.
whatever it's held on to.
So, time to fit this. Right, so we've got this one in first. We've just snugged that. So that was a 17, this was a 19, and now we need to get the ball joint in, and that'll be us. Well, apart from getting this on again. Right. Well, that's everything in place, so this 17mm bolt's been tightened up. The castellated nut for the the ball joint has had the cutter pin put through it. These bolts to put the caliper back on have been tightened up. The strut bolt has been tightened up, and the 19mm here has been tightened up. So if you're doing this, getting this in here, it wasn't the most straightforward, but it's not deadly. But if you get it in on this side first and then fit this, you might have a bit of difficulty getting that in. But of course, because that's vertical and that's horizontal, it has to fit behind here. So you've really got to get this in first, as far as I understand. And then once you've done that, then you can just pop in your ball joint. So hopefully that's it. It's just a case of bringing it down slightly and putting the wheel back on. Well, that's the wheel back on. The nuts have been tightened up with a long breaker bar. That was the split castellated nut for the ball joint. So it was well mashed and destroyed. So that's that. So, job's a good one. So I'll be back in for its MOT retest sometime this week. Also have to change this H4 bulb. It's blown. So there you have it. Now we're going to go in and see if Colin's kettle's working, I think.
And Gavin's going to look at my security camera system.
Aye, I'll have a look at that.
It's not working.
And we'll wash the hands. Anyway, feel free to like and subscribe and make any comments as you feel necessary.